We're hitting the grocery store. Baskets in hand, eyes focused on popular food products.
Investigating whether companies are playing fast and loose when it comes to food labeling.
Start the day with Nutella.
Everything from breakfast to dinner.
Healthy request. Sounds good.
I'm sold.
We're finding a healthy diet of food claims.
100% natural garden vegetable.
Bread with veggies?
Seems that's the hype these days. But are company claims supported by the facts, or is it just food fiction?
How important are the labeling claims to your decision?
That's the first thing I look at.
I'm a dad, so I like to get, certain types of nutrition to my boys. They're still growing, so they need a lot of protein.
Quite a bit. I used to be not in the best of health, so it became a habit over time.
To find out about these healthy food claims, we check out and meet up with a guy who can help us read between the lines.
Hey, Yoni.
Hi, Erica.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Dr. Yoni Friedhoff runs a health and nutrition center in Ottawa. He's been called Canada's nutritional watchdog.
How would you describe some of the marketing tactics companies use to get people to buy their stuff?
Well, they'll use anything and everything that they can to try to convince consumers that what's in those packages is health food.
How successful do you think the marketing is?
I think it's extremely successful. Every aisle of the supermarket is preying on us. They're preying on our psychologies. They're preying on our beliefs. It's not fair.
Let's start with the first meal of the day, a popular breakfast item, Nutella. You know, the one that's spreading the message that breakfast loves Nutella.
Knives, spoons, fingers, and cheeks. Made with roasted hazelnuts. Breakfast loves Nutella.
Precious Chong's family loves it too. Her 9-year-old son Jack eats this sweet treat 3 times a week. He's nuts for Nutella.
Delicious.
She first ate the stuff as a child in Europe and says now it's a staple in her home.
When you're serving Nutella for Jack in the morning, how much do you give him?
Like between a teaspoon and a tablespoonful in his oatmeal.
Do you know anything about the ingredients of Nutella?
I know it's like hazelnuts and sugar.
Any idea how much sugar's in there?
I don't know.
The manufacturer says it can be part of a balanced breakfast. But is Nutella really a good way to start the day?
What do you think of this product?
Well, I think that it is spreadable candy.
Candy. Why?
Well, basically everything you spread on that piece of bread will be sugar.
So just how much sugar does Nutella pack?
It says each serving is 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to just get a tablespoon of this, and that has 11 grams of sugar. Okay, here we go.
Nutella, really, it's a bit of whey powder, so we'll put some whey powder, and it's a bit of skim milk powder, so we'll put that too. Some cocoa powder, we've got cocoa powder, and now everybody knows there's hazelnuts in there, but I don't know if everybody knows that there's only 2.5 hazelnuts in that tablespoon. And then there is just shy, 1 gram shy, of 3 teaspoons of sugar.
That is a ton of sugar on my toast.
It is a lot of sugar on your toast. And, a lot of people, they say, well, we know it's not healthy, but I'm not sure people know just how much this actually is.
All that sugar in just 1 serving, and Friedhoff thinks people are eating more than that.
The label, it's swimming in Nutella. I wonder if 2 tablespoons would make it look more like that label.
And once you make it 2 tablespoons of Nutella, you're eating 5.5 teaspoons of sugar. And that's not all.
You've got another ingredient down there. What's that?
I do. This is chocolate icing.
You think there's a comparison?
Well, in fact, there is less sugar, tablespoon for tablespoon, in this chocolate icing than in that Nutella.
The company says it doesn't promote the nutritional value of Nutella. If you eat it with some whole grain toast, fruit, and milk, it can be part of a complete breakfast. But that's little consolation for our Toronto mom.
In a serving of Nutella, which is a tablespoon, there are 11 grams of sugar.
Wow.
Do you know how much that is?
No.
It's almost 3 teaspoons.
That's a lot of sugar. So basically, I'm giving a chocolate bar to my son for breakfast.
The fact that Nutella markets itself as a breakfast food, sells itself that way, and knowing how much sugar's in it, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, it's a sham. It shouldn't be a breakfast food. It should be like a dessert.
The latest in a long list of unhappy Nutella fans. A couple of years ago, the manufacturer made national news in the U.S. when it was sued for false advertising.
I thought it was at least as nutritious as peanut butter, maybe a little bit more, and that was just the impression I got from the commercial.
The company had to pay its customers $3 million.
They may have tweaked their advertising to tone down the impression it's healthy, but this sugar cop says it's still leaving a false impression.
Why are companies allowed to market their products as though they're good for you?
Companies are allowed to say whatever they can get away with saying. Now, they're like teenagers. Their job is to push the envelope, to see what they can get away with to sell as much product as possible.
One of the slogans for this product is "Breakfast loves Nutella."
Well, kids may love Nutella, and maybe breakfast does too, but I'm not so sure that health does.
Let's put this one away.
Indeed.
Time for us to turn the tables on this label, change food fiction into food fact. So let's make breakfast loves Nutella, Nutella loves sugar.
With breakfast done, time for lunch.
Healthy request. Sounds good.
I'm sold.
Throw it in.
You bet.
So we pick up some Campbell's Healthy Request soup.
So when you see the word healthy request on that, what does that mean to you?
It would mean to me there would be more vegetables in there. It would have some type of whole grain in there.
Healthy request? Well, I'd have to look at the ingredients before I figured out if it is healthy.
Vegetables and nice looking things on there. So I would think, yeah, that's something that I would consider.
So just how healthy is this soup?
So we've got this Campbell's soup. It's called Healthy Request, and there are a lot of health-related things on this label.
There's no question that label screams healthy. I mean, even if you look at the spoon, you don't see soup, you just see a spoonful of vegetables right above a logo that's got a heart with the word healthy on top of it. So this is, I would imagine, the marketing point is heart-healthy soup.
So let's look at the amount of sodium in here. It has 470 milligrams of sodium per serving. How's that number?
Well, first, 470 milligrams of sodium in a serving of soup might not be a small number for someone who is worried and concerned for real reasons about sodium. So people with heart disease, that's actually quite a lot for a serving of soup. But I have a question. How much is the serving of soup in this case?
Says per serving of 250 milliliters, but this has almost 400 in it, in this container.
And so that would be almost 750 milligrams of sodium in that container.
If you ate the whole thing.
Now, I wonder who wouldn't eat the whole thing. I mean, look at this container. So it is a single-serve container. I say that because you can't reseal it.
Campbell's says it uses the standard serving size for soup set by the government. That way shoppers can make a fair comparison. But it looks as if Campbell's could be breaking government rules around labeling. If a food product could reasonably be eaten at a single sitting, the company has to give you the nutritional info for the whole container.
How misleading is it then to give the sodium for a serving size that is not the entire thing?
I think it's very misleading. You know, especially when you've got a container that clearly is something people would regularly consume all at once.
And that's not the only food fiction going on.
If you want to know how much sodium, it's the same amount of sodium as you would get if you ate this entire bowl of potato chips.
Well, you wouldn't sit down and eat an entire big bowl of potato chips like that.
No, and if you're making your own vegetable soup at home, the likelihood of you putting that much sodium in is quite low.
So this Healthy Request soup?
Not so healthy.
Back at the grocery store, we give shoppers the scoop about this soup.
Do you think that's a healthy request?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Wow. I'd probably rather have the potato chips.
They have healthy request on here. It's got that much sodium in it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the claim?
It doesn't seem healthy at all.
So time for another label makeover. Let's turn Campbell's Healthy Request soup into Campbell's Salty Request soup.